Hello, I'm Rick Morris. These are videos for recovery from drugs and alcohol. This video is titled Recovery Step 4, Episode 1, and it's titled Heart and Mouth. This step reads, we made a fearless and searching moral inventory of ourselves. And the scripture that goes along with that is, the good person out of the treasure of his heart produces good. The evil person out of the evil treasure produces evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks. Luke 6:45. When we make a moral inventory, we're looking at what is in our heart, what is in our own heart. How do we know what is in our heart? Whatever is in our heart will turn into speech. Our words will sooner or later give it away. We must listen to each other carefully, or because most of us are deceived with what's in our heart. And we don't even hear the things that come out of our mouth. This is the essence of accountability. When you're accountable to each other, you're listening to what each other says, and whatever comes out of your mouth, that's in your heart. Now, would it hurt your feelings if someone told you that you just said something that was irresponsible? I pause after each question to give everyone that's listening a chance to answer. So you can pause the video if you need some time. If we're liars, we speak lies. If we're thieves, we talk about ways we cheated. If we make excuses and don't do what we promised we said we'd do, we're irresponsible. If we blame someone else and run away from difficulties, we're cowards. So whatever's in the heart comes out in the mouth or in actions. It also works both ways. If somebody is kind and says something kind, they're a caring person. If somebody offers to buy your lunch, they're generous. So it works both ways. Whatever's in the heart comes out of your mouth. It becomes complicated when a friend or a family member says something that reveals a problem in their heart. What do you do with that information when a close friend tells you a lie? Well, it depends on what level of accountability you have with that person. If you do not have permission to speak into their life, it's a mistake, it's an error, it's not a good thing to start pointing out issues in their heart. You're asking for a big argument or hurt feelings, and etc. What do you do? What do you want them to do if they hear something that is revealing that comes out of your mouth? It's the same principle. It'll hurt your feelings if you haven't given them permission to speak into your mouth, into your life. So be careful who you're accountable with, and be sure and open the door when you're accountable to help them or make them understand that you want to see your blind spots. Don't argue with a person who is trying to be helpful. Just politely change the subject. That's the best way out. If you don't have authority over somebody, and we covered that in an earlier session, your place is not to point out their faults, their issues. Remember, this is another important point. God communicates with us in many ways. His ways are mysterious. They're higher than our ways. Sometimes he speaks through nature, through the TV, through the radio. Even he speaks through children. He can even be speaking to you through your boss. That's a hard one to swallow sometimes. Let me give you an example of something that happened to me after about 5 years of recovery. I had a nice car. It was a company car. They provided me a very nice vehicle. And I put a radar detector in there. In those days, a radar detector was the rage. Anyway, I was parked downtown one day and somebody busted my passenger side window and they took my radar detector. There was glass everywhere and it didn't take long to figure out what happened. So I had my glass repaired and I was talking to someone about it or over the phone. And my 6-year-old daughter said these words. She said, "Dad, I don't think you ought to buy another radar detector. It just makes you break the law." Well, today I really believe that God was using her to speak to me. I couldn't, apparently I wasn't listening to his voice through my conscience. So he just used my daughter, my 6-year-old, to tell me that she didn't think I really ought to buy a radar detector because it would just make me break the law. So I didn't buy a radar detector. Anyway, we're going to carry on through this step. So I'll see you on the next episode.